And with me, I have another very, very talented person. He's an author, and he's also, can I say you're a playwright? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, tell us about, first of all, talk about this book.
Well, I wrote a book. It's called The Opposite of Everything, and it's based loosely on events in my own life that began around 20 years ago when I was diagnosed with cancer and I was undergoing a kind of nasty divorce. And out of
everything kind of falls together, doesn't it? Sometimes in a very bad way.
It falls apart. Yeah. Yes. And over the years, I've always written. I've been a journalist at the Associated Press. I've kind of written fiction on the side. And over the years, I was writing snatches of it here and there. And it wasn't until about 10 years ago when I left the Associated Press that I devoted full time to writing this book. And it turned into a comedy. I found out that through trial and error that the only way I could really write about this kind of traumatic period in my life was by stretching the truth, making up characters, and trying to get deeper truths to come out of humor.
Well, humor is so important, David, because it seems to be a healing in a way. And we hear about humor workshops, we talk about laughing. All these things get all those hormones going inside you that are positive. And I think when you talk about having adversity, sometimes if we could find a little humor in it or a little something to lighten the load, it's better for us.
Yeah, I started writing this as memoir, first person, and reading back my earlier drafts, I just was not happy with how it was going. The writing felt kind of stiff. And when I played with it, the parts that seemed to sing the most were those in which I had the characters kind of doing zany things, and there were comical situations. And for me, as an author, it helped me process the events in my life because I was able to see them through the eyes of an entertainer. And in the process of seeing it myself as an entertainer, I was able to entertain others. And there's a certain satisfaction in that I couldn't get from more of a straight telling of it.
Yeah, I can see where it's coming from as you speak. Where can people get this book? Because we're going to talk about something else too that he's working on. So
yes.
Where can they get the book?
Well, it's on Amazon. If you go to my website, which is www.davidkalishwriter.com, you'll see all the places you can get it. It's Amazon, any of the bookstores that are on my book tour, which I'm in the middle of now.
And I think we had some photographs that we were showing as well. Did we show those, Greg?
Coming right up.
Oh, they're coming right up. Because you had a big thing at Northshire.
Right. Those photos are from my debut at Northshire Bookstore in Saratoga on March 20th. And it was a great coming out for me because I've never really thought of myself as a public speaker.
You had a big crowd.
It was a big crowd. It was about 80 people.
It's incredible.
And the bookstore sold out of my stock of 75 books.
Wow.
And it was so gratifying for me to see the community come out to hear me. I was almost like,
you're coming for me?
Where's John Grisham?
Yeah, right. Tom Clancy, is he behind me?
Yeah. And I also felt that I hit my stride. I had a lot of anxiety going into that. Writing, as you might suspect, is kind of a solitary pursuit. I was behind my laptop for literally tens of thousands of hours.
Got little calluses on your fingers.
I know. I almost lost my wife, you know. And through it all, I had to kind of keep in the back of my mind, I'm making a book, take yourself seriously, keep your eye on the goal. And at that Northshire event, it all came together for me. I felt accepted by the community. I felt like I was giving to the community what I had that was special.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, it was a great event for me.
Well, he's not only an author of a book. You are coming out with a play or musical. I don't know, musical comedy. I'm letting him describe it. But when you hear the title, tell us about it.
Well, it's called The Gringo Who Stole Christmas, and it's a musical comedy that I wrote in collaboration with Alex Torres, who many of you know is the Latin musician and composer. And
Grammy Award winner too.
He is. Yeah. He's my hero.
Yeah.
And it's going to be performed here at Proctor's in the GE Theater in December. I think we have like 8 performances lined up.
So how does this gringo steal Christmas?
Well,
or do you want to give a spoiler or anything?
I'll give enough. Basically, it's a Latin comic twist on the Charles Dickens classic A Christmas Carol. So, for example, instead of Ghost of Christmas Past, there's Fantasma del Navidad Pasada. And excuse me if my Spanish is not perfect. And it's really total reimagining. I was having a lot of fun with it. My wife happens to be Colombian, so I had to run.
So you had a lot of fun with that.
I had to run a lot of the lines past her to make sure they made sense culturally.
Let's see now, in Dickens, they have the Christmas goose. What do you have, the Christmas taco or what?
It's actually a gardenia, which is a hen.
Oh, a hen, okay, good.
Yes. So,
just checking. I mean, I want this to be authentic.
Yes. And in fact, tonight, right here in this very room, we're having our first rehearsal for the play.
And that's on the 8th, so in case somebody's watching it, they won't know it's the 8th.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. I feel like this is the year for me as a writer when a lot of things have broken coming my way. So
that's
feeling a lot of gratitude, a little dizzy because my book tour is just keeping me, totally preoccupied.
Now, are you going, when you talk about a book tour, I'm always asking, because for us, he's kind of a local writer. Do you get to go to San Francisco and Chicago?
Well,
Where do you go?
I have to kind of do this economic equation in my head to see if it's going to pay off. So I'm gradually branching out. I mean, I started at Northshire Bookstore on March 20th. I went to Brooklyn to a bookstore on March 27th. This Thursday, 2 days from now, I'm appearing at Saratoga Public Library at 6:30 p.m.
Cool.
And then next Thursday, I'm going to be at Sinai Temple in Saratoga. And then the following Tuesday, I'll be in Huntington, Long Island.
Okay, so you are getting around a little bit.
And I'm going to Boston on May 7th, I believe, at a bookstore.
So you'll miss the Boston Marathon, of course.
Yes, I used to be a marathoner, but no
more.
more. So.
No more.
No more.
It's important. Have you thought about Skyping? Because sometimes, Skyping is kind of a neat way to do a book signing, or not a signing, but a book author, visiting the author.
An event, yeah, I guess.
We did that once. That's why I asked, because we did it with an author.
Yeah, I'll have to run that by my publicist.
We did it at the library. He did our technical director did an interview with a author of a man who wrote a book about the Burma Road, and he was Skyped in. It was really interesting. See,
so
you could do something.
So I can do a virtual book event, appear at a bookstore.
Exactly, virtual. And then they could ask you questions.
That's an idea.
Yeah, see, it all happens here. We do a lot of that.
Yes.
And I'm not even charged him for that idea.
No.
So good. David Kalish, he has written the book, The Opposite of Everything, and I haven't read it yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be quite inspirational. Would you say?
I would say it's a easy, comical read, and everyone who's read it so far have told me that they've had laugh out loud moments where they've embarrassed themselves.
Especially if you're
a friend of mine was reading
on a bus.
Well, a friend of mine was reading it on their phone on a plane.
Yeah.
And he said the woman next to him thought he was psychotic because he was just burst out laughing. And that kind of feedback for me
That's wonderful.
is so gratifying.
So great.
I always thought that, I'd put it out there and embarrass myself, but I'm getting some good feedback.
I think you're doing good, and I can't wait to see the gringo who stole Christmas. This
Yeah.
has got to be a funny thing. And maybe I'll pop in and kind of see how you're doing with that. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Is it all cast?
Totally cast. Maybe a couple of minor characters, and tonight's going to be really a great event for me because I'll see all the actors uttering my lines.
I know how exciting that's going to be. Your baby's going to be delivered almost.
Almost.
In December it will
it's
be
actually
totally...
a long gestation, but tonight's the first step.
We want to thank David for being here and Doug for bringing him. Hey, Doug, thank you so much for bringing him here today.